Okay, we're talking on recording right now because I can edit it down. So
There you go.
no big deal.
Get back to the
That's a good thing about this. I get all kinds of redos. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of No K, I've Had Enough. I'm honored to have on my right longtime friend and guest, James Spitznagel, longtime pro-activist, pro-life advocate, sponsor for numerous pro-life activities. On my left, I have Ben Ice, who is with the Students for Life. If you guys would, just take your time and introduce yourselves.
Sure. Jim, do you want to go first?
Sure. I've been in the pro-life through 40 Days for Life. I learned about it through the Knights of Columbus, and then I was at a restaurant one time with an electrician, and one of the local leaders that was talking to another person was Mr. B. Wright had come to town to visit. So I asked more questions, and that my role pretty much has been praying in front of the Planned Parenthood at 86th Street and Georgetown Road. We'll go over there and through the vigils, they have spring vigil and a fall vigil, and they have people there praying throughout the day. And they'll have a few speakers come out there for little rallies and stuff, but that's been my exposure to this. And I'm a big supporter of the Women's Care Center, which is actually also in that same corner, and it's been fun to be a part of that and try to help make a difference and save babies' lives through that and through some other women's care centers. I met Ben Ice, and he can tell a little bit more about Students for Life and what he's been into.
And Jim, you met me when I was in high school, actually, but before you met me, what you may not know is, or maybe you do know, but I used to be pro-choice, and I wasn't Christian, I wasn't anything, and it was really during COVID that, I was just very bored, not knowing what to do with my life because I don't have school. I was, a young high school kid at this time and didn't have a lot going on, and I was just scrolling through my phone because what else are you going to do? However old I was. And I came across a video that Students for Life of America posted on their Instagram story. And this was a video of the movie Unplanned. It was just a clip from that movie, and it was the chemical abortion scene. And my heart absolutely shattered and broke from seeing that. And
can I interrupt for one second?
Yeah, of course.
Could you explain more on the chemical abortion plans?
Sure. Do you want me to do that now, or do you want to?
However you want to do it.
Sure.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I'll make sure to talk about that. And so my heart definitely broke about just everything that was happening, but it had nothing to do necessarily with babies, because I just didn't know abortion killed babies at the time. I had no idea. And so I was like, I was actively pro-choice. I was arguing with family and friends at this time because I was thinking, well, abortion is the most compassionate, most loving solution for women. I saw this video, and I saw Abby Johnson, who was a Planned Parenthood manager, and her character in this scene, this true story from Unplanned, went through the most horrific thing I've ever seen. She was on the bathroom floor in agonizing pain from just these 2 little pills, mifepristone and misoprostol, which misoprostol was there to induce labor. Mifepristone starved her child from nutrients so that it couldn't survive any longer. And she was there in agonizing pain for hours and hours. She even said afterwards in her book, I learned this during kind of my conversion, how I was becoming pro-life, and I learned that Abby Johnson she was there on set when this was being recorded. She had it recorded dozens of times over and over and over again to make sure it was the most accurate of exactly what she went through as possible. But she still said in her book, she said, it's just not the same as what I went through. And no scene can ever do justice to the horror of it that she experienced. And so I saw that, and I was just thinking, wow, I'm pro-choice because abortion is a woman's right, and who can take that away from her? And this is the most compassionate, loving thing for her. Abortion's a bad thing, but there's not a good, better option. And I was like, okay, after seeing this, there is nothing loving, nothing compassionate about this. Again, still nothing to do with babies yet. And I just kept learning and watching. Eventually I found out, this is from a movie called Unplanned. And so I watched the rest of that movie. And it was through that I found out, oh my goodness, abortion isn't just harming women and leading them to these traumatic experiences, but it also harms children. And I can't ever be okay with this. So I did more research, and I reached out to the same organization that posted this little clip that really sparked all of this, and it was Students for Life of America. And I was like, hey, what can I do? I just sent an email, what can I do? How can I get involved? I just had this crazy experience. What do I do? And they said, hey, you should start a pro-life club at your school. And I'm like, what? I'm going to start a pro-life club at my public high school. I was like 2,000 people.
I gotta imagine that went over really well.
Yeah, 2,000 people at this public high school, and it was over COVID, so I was trying to get things rolling, finding a sponsor. We actually emailed every teacher in the school and said, hey, will you sponsor our pro-life club? We got one response from a teacher out of the entire school district who was willing to do it, and God bless him that he was just willing to take that step. But even then, I was talking to the Students for Life lady, my regional coordinator at the time. Her name's Lily, and she actually now she works with Students for Life Action doing a lot of her policy work. But I was like, I don't know about this, I'm kind of nervous, and I should have been. It's hard being a high school student and being pro-life. You're constantly shunned, you're shamed, you lose all your friends. I lost my friends. I didn't have any friends when I started this. Thank the Lord, I was able to meet wonderful people after starting the club. And I'm still friends with a lot of those people today. We go on trips together, we go to church together, we do all sorts of amazing things. We do pro-life work together, and that's how we really started connecting. And we're still very active now, and these are the best friends I've ever had, best friends I could ever ask for. But it was hard. It was really hard, especially at the beginning, because I was heavily involved in the music department at school. None of the music department kids, none of the theater kids, none of them wanted to be involved. They were like, oh, yeah, you're crazy. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Oh, you're conservative.
Yeah, they were, well, I didn't know that I was really conservative at the time. I hadn't given it really a thought a day, but I thought, well, if this is the only party that's not going to stand for the slaughter of preborn children, I have to be. And so I learned more and more about it. But that's where it all started. And so Students for Life, had noticed this club's doing really well. Myself and my co-president, we were leading it together with a couple other officers, and we were having bi-weekly meetings. We had social events. Even during COVID, we had 20, 30 people going to meetings, and the Students for Life were like, hey, this is kind of taking off well. So they invited me to be a Students for Life Action state captain, and through that opportunity, I had the ability to learn about legislation. I had the opportunity to learn about how do bills become laws, and I was able to talk to legislators about specifically pro-life legislation in Indiana.
Pardon me for interrupting.
Yeah, of course.
He's too young to remember that cartoon thing that was on TV. Remember that?
What was it about?
Well, it would be in between cartoons, and it was how a bill turned into a law.
Oh no, Schoolhouse Rock. I remember Schoolhouse Rock. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I remember Schoolhouse Rock, and I watched that video. They played it for me in the 4th grade multiple times, but I don't know if I learned much from it. But I remember that. Yeah, and really I learned the hands-on version of the Schoolhouse Rock video. That's what it was. I'm just a Bill.
Yeah.
I'm Capitol Hill. Yeah, just like
On the
that.
steps.
Right,
On top of the
right.
steps there.
Through that opportunity, I just had amazing experiences to network with people, to meet new people, to just continue to get involved in the pro-life movement. I started doing life change. I started praying outside of the same Planned Parenthood you pray at so often. And Students for Life Action said, hey, you're doing a pretty good job with this fellowship thing, and they invited me to be for my senior year of high school, to be a Thaddeus Stevens Fellow, which is our only high school fellowship. They flew me out to Washington, D.C. for a week, or it was about 4 days of exclusive pro-life training at their first ever annual National Leadership Collective. So that's where Students for Life brings 200 of their top student leaders. It's about 250, somewhere around that number. And they've done it for the last 3 years now. We're going to do it again this year for year number 4. And they give them exclusive training with some of the top pro-life advocates. David B. Wright, is who you were just talking about, founder of 40 Days for Life. He's always there, and he's an amazing speaker. There is Kristen Hawkins. We've had people from the Abortion Pill Reversal Network. We've had people there from Abortion Recovery Networks. Justice for All is a great apologetics organization that trains us how to have effective, mind-changing conversations with our peers and how to really drive the culture on abortion. My third time at the National Leadership Collective was last year. Let's speak about my second time there. We had the opportunity to be there when Roe v. Wade was reversed and when Dobbs versus Jackson went into effect. You better bet, and I'll talk about this here in a minute too, my experience on that day, but you better bet we were there at the Supreme Court.